Okay, everybody, here we are. Morning coffee and ramble. We will have a guest joining us soon. Spaz will be here shortly, I think. And yeah, we're just going to have some open discussion today. I've got the paranormal site open here this morning on Facebook. And it's a group, actually. Paranormal and the Hunting the Paranormal and Unexplained. Sometimes it's interesting, other times it's not. Right now, we are also sharing ourselves out someplace where Facebook fails us every time. They sometimes don't even put our notification out there and let people know we're live because they like to cater to an algorithm rather than people. And yeah, so love them or leave them. That's what they say. Keep in mind, guys, when you're on YouTube, YouTube is not your business. You have to identify your business and then promote it. YouTube makes money from ads, and if you produce enough foot traffic, they will share a little bit with you. But other than that, you make money from your business and you promote it on YouTube. Your real subscribers are those who become members. So becoming that partner is very important because you can't have memberships until you have a partnership. And your first 1,000 paying members are your real subscribers. Those are the people willing to pay you for what you're doing, whether it is teaching or cooking or surfing, whatever it is. Whether it's ghost hunting, those are the people willing to support you. That is where your members only videos come in and you teach them or you give them their money's worth. If you can get 1,000 of them paying $10.99 a month to start, and that's your most difficult point right there, that's $10,000 guaranteed dollars per year. Without a doubt. That is the first thing to remember. And I cannot wait to get Mr. Works here. We're actually still working on getting together with him and having a discussion about the podcast. I'm not sure if he just wants a one in and one and done, or if he wants in and do it once a week, or what his deal is. But he is interested in doing something. That's what we're looking for. Someone a guest, really. If he wants to be a regular guest, that's great. We shall work with that. Sorry, I am showing you, I think. I can't tell what you're actually seeing because I'm not actually seeing it. But I'm pretty sure you're seeing what I'm looking at. Yeah. So note to self, avoid looking at your messages and such while Facebook is up. On your desk, on your window here, on stage, you could say. Learn and live every day. No passwords for you guys because, hey, I don't use them anyway. No passwords on my account. Passkey only. My phone is sitting right here and it automatically logs me into everything. I'm logged in on my phone. So here's somebody right here. I don't know. I am waiting for Shannon. Give me a minute is what she said. But we're going to start without her. Here's somebody who said, hi, for the past couple of years I've been seeing every evening a male spirit who is behind my TV. I am puzzled as to who he is. Well, puzzle no more. I have no idea. I do not see your spirit. Is it a dark shadow? Is it like a family member who's worried about you but not speaking their mind? Many times, if you see a dark, shadowy figure, it will be a living soul, usually a family member or loved one, or a husband, an older child, somebody who has some fears that are unspoken. Yeah, the shadow. You've heard people talk about shadow of doubt. That's what we're at here. Yeah. So if it's a light colored spirit, it could be anything. If it's a dark colored shadow, good chance it's a living soul who has some concerns, some anxieties, some unspoken concern. It's looking, watching, being sure you're okay. Perhaps you just got off the phone with them, even. It may be an evening ritual, and they just want to make sure you're good. And when they lay down, they project their shadow, as it were. The shadow man is what they call it, living humans. It's the shadow man. There's a reason for it. Words like shadow of a doubt, give them a shadow of a doubt, and so many things like that are, yeah, they are all from this line of shadowy figures that are living, breathing humans from our life, our loved ones, our family, our parents, our children, husbands and wives. I just did a video on it this morning. You can check it out on Roaming and Ramble. It's our latest paranormal podcast post. It's a short video that I use some AI to back me up on to explain it, hopefully as well as it has to be explained. Living souls that are projecting their fears and their doubts and their unspoken concerns and stuff like that. That's usually what dark shadows are. So if you're seeing a dark shadow all these years behind your TV, somebody's thinking about you all the time. Maybe it's an old flame or something like that who's been thinking about you for years, hoping that you're okay, even though you're not together. Maybe haven't seen each other forever or heard from each other even. That too is a possibility. It certainly is. So, Marilyn Benson, that's who posted that question. That is the answer I have for you. It is most likely a male spirit. You're saying a male. It could be a current loved one, a current lover, or a relationship. Could be a past relationship. Somebody who's been thinking about you for the past couple of years, but not actually seeing you anymore. Maybe you got rid of them. Maybe they got rid of you. Maybe you just got time itself split you apart, or circumstances. Life happens. So there you have it. And now my computer has pooped out on me again. I really hate this. All right. I shall be back. I'm going to put myself on stage even though I'm not here. Don't know what's up. There is the get with. Oh, there you are. I don't. Oh, there I am. Okay, I crashed again. That's why I wasn't here. So the stream was.
Oh, that's why. That's why it was just a screen that said what we're using to stream.
Yep, that's why. It was just a blank screen. Just crashed again. I don't know. I should remember to reboot my computer. I really don't want to reinstall Windows on the PC because it's a pain, but I will if I have to. There's nothing else wrong with it that I can see. Anyway, I could show you what I was talking about, even though, most people say I'm crazy. Maybe I am. All right. So here's what I was talking about for. I can't find where I belong. Okay. So there was a post here, right here. It said, "Hi, for the past couple of years, I've been seeing everything. Every evening, a male spirit who's behind my TV, and I'm puzzled as to who it is. So I don't know this male spirit. If it's a dark looking male spirit, I've said that many times that is a living loved one who has fears or anxieties, unspoken doubt. People are called shadow self. So when you see a dark shadow, a lot of times it's a dark shadow. It could be, since it's been the past couple of years, and this is a female question, I'm going to say could be somebody she was in a relationship with that they got separated for whatever reason, and that person has been thinking about them and worried about them for a couple of years now. Not heard, maybe not called or spoke it, but they are right there behind her television, looking over her because they have some anxiety and doubt. I'm sure you've heard people talk about the shadow of doubt. If it's not a dark spirit, however, not a clue. Just just some random Casper. Could be somebody who's lived there, somebody who was buried in the land 1,000 years ago. You never know. Don't know where this
Could be
person's from
a
or any.
lot of things.
Yep, sure could.
But if
Could
it's literally just behind her TV or
every
whatever,
every night for a couple of years. Yeah, it's like projecting itself on the wall or
but
whatever.
not bothering her in any way, then I wouldn't be too worried about it.
That's right. It's just somebody who's watching from a distance, a loved one. It could even be a parent, a child, or like I said, an old boyfriend, somebody she was dating.
Yeah.
Usually, it's a living soul when it's a dark shadow. Not anything evil, not anything malicious. Usually, those are more archetypes of living humans. Yes, that you learn to control or you don't. That's what being out of balance is. You either can control your demons or you can't.
Right.
So, and without getting religion into it, because that's a whole debacle I don't want to get into. Yeah, we used to spend a lot of time reading the Bible and talking about the Bible. When we stop and think about life, we've got prayer. Sit and put your hands together and say, "Oh, God, help me," or get up and do it yourself. Which way does it happen?
It's not an argument I want to get into.
Our spirits collectively in the world, all collective together, create the vision of our environment we live in, and we've created it. We are the creators, we're the designers, we are the hands and the feet that make what is, and we're building our heaven for tomorrow, because when you die and you're reincarnated, you'll be born into what we created during your last lifetime. And you'll be accepting of it. Right now, you're saying, "Ooh, electric this," and "Ooh, clean energy that," and "Ooh, internet." Everybody's on the phone, and when you're born, you'll be born right into whatever's there, and you'll be all accepting of it, just like your kids of the things we have today. You
Too
have it,
much.
you make it. Your heaven is what you make it. It's either hell or it's heaven. In fact, hell ain't even in the Bible, so you know. That'll tell you something right there. Anyway, so what's up for you today other than cyber urinating? You said you were pissed off, so I'm assuming that's, and we were talking on Facebook, so that's cyber internet, urinating or whatever, I guess.
Oh no, I'm upset because I need to get to the bank and it's so cold out and I'm gonna have to walk.
Uh-huh.
So at this moment, I'm like procrastinating because I'm hoping that within the next hour it goes up at least 2 degrees. So I've got 2 degrees warmer. It's
There you go.
gonna be such a cold day.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know why my internet is fluctuating so much according to this, but I'm gonna flip that.
I don't know. I had to
But
restore my phone service this morning. That was fun.
you restored your phone?
My phone service.
Oh, your phone
My
service.
bill was due yesterday, so I knew it'd be turned off this morning, but it didn't get paid until this morning, so I couldn't pay my bill until this morning, so I had to restore my cell phone service.
Ah, sad news on this side. I got a phone here that Lisa pays. It doesn't have a lot of data or anything, but she does pay $15 or $20 a month so that I can have text and call and everything. But the phone is obsolete. It's an A19 that I've been notified. Well, nothing for it will be updated anymore, and slowly but surely it is dying. The only way I can text or dial from it anymore is through Windows when I'm connected to Bluetooth.
Well, this new phone
Uh-huh.
is a Motorola 2023. I don't know the whole name of the phone.
Yeah.
I got it on my birthday,
Mm-hmm.
and a week later, it fell, and now the screen's smashed, and it's been smashed since a week after I got it. And well, nothing I could do about it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Anyway,
So
this is what I was doing while you weren't here. So buttons. What's next? Keep me moving. Anything you would like to particularly discuss besides somebody else's spooks and ghosts? Oh
I have one.
yeah,
I have one. I I don't know what it is.
they're
I
cheaper by
think
the dozen.
I almost think it's like a little kid, but then I've thought about it and like, are there really little kid spirits?
I technically no, but yes. So
I
it's
didn't
kind of a
think
weird
so.
thing. Spirits are not human, so they're not. They were a spirit itself is born in. It's born into the world attached to a body, which is a baby, or and then turns into a child, an infant.
But here's the thing, like the activity goes and then it slows and then it goes away and then it comes back.
Mhm.
So whatever it is isn't trying to harm me in any way. It's very playful though.
Mhm. Well,
Because one night, I think it was right after Caden went to go live with his father, right?
right.
I'm doing something in the bathroom, looking in the mirror, like washing my face, brushing my teeth, getting ready for bed. Door's closed. I don't know why I closed the door. I'm here by myself. Ain't nobody else here. But door's closed. And all of a sudden I hear a child's voice go, "Mommy."
So, what makes you think it's not your kids?
Well, here's the weird part, Dad. I'm gonna explain it to you, okay? I'm gonna explain all of the events that have happened. And so that was weird because there was nobody here. It was just me.
Right.
And I hear a little kid's voice go, "Mommy." Sounded like it was right outside my bathroom door.
Right.
Scared me for a moment because, as I said, I know I'm home alone.
Right.
Open the door, look through the house. There's nothing there. Blew it off as possibly somebody's kid outside.
Right. Right. Right.
A couple weeks go by and I'm cleaning the house and I had all the kids' toys in the kids' rooms.
Right.
because they had just moved with their dads, and I know I had cleaned up all the toys and put them in the kids' rooms. There was no toys in my living room, my dining room, any area that there was not supposed to be toys.
Mm-hmm.
I'm vacuuming.
We get kids' toys going up here all the time. All the time.
I'm vacuuming, and out of the corner of my eye, I see a Matchbox car in the middle of my living room.
Mm-hmm.
Just randomly sitting there, placed there, like purposely placed there.
Yeah.
But it's just me. And all the toys were put away.
All right. I mean, it
So
could be a prankster or a trickster, but my guess is your kids have some anxiety, maybe some unspoken stuff, maybe not Caden, but it could be a younger one, and they just project themselves to where you are, where they felt safe.
So I took the car and I put it back in the room, and me being me was like, I don't care if you want to play with the toys, but can you keep them in the bedroom, please? Like I would tell my kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
I never had a toy move again.
I keep a trusty motion light here, so if it goes off while it's sitting here on the table, we know something's up.
Then
Cat balls are good for this.
couple weeks go by, nothing. And I'm okay, whatever, just doing my daily life. But right before my surgery, about a year ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
The bedroom door, because I moved into one of the bedrooms, the bedroom door every night at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, whether I'm in the room or I'm not in the room, the bedroom door would close on its own.
There you go. Perfect timing too, right?
It would just, and I was working, or I wasn't working nights, but I was a night owl, so I'm not always in my room at that time. But the door, I could be standing in the kitchen, I could be sitting on the end of my bed, I could be in the bathroom, and you would hear the door go and close.
Yep. Yeah, there's I mean, probably it's nothing notorious, obviously. It's not bothering you, but it's somebody who wants to feel, perhaps, like I said, one of the kids. They get scared if it's at night. Maybe they're sleeping or having a dream. Run to mom for comfort, but they're doing it in spirit. They can't do it in body, but they're doing it in spirit.
I mean, I haven't had anything go on for a while, but
right. As long as you don't, wake up pregnant or something, I won't worry about it. Neck a whole new.
But those are the reasons why I think I was thinking it was like a child, because first they said mommy, then the car, and then it's just kind of playful how every night the door would close right around the same time. Like, hey, you're supposed to be sleeping. Let's go to bed.
So the only way you would get a child is somebody with a child mentality. It's not a child who died, because the theory, and I don't know that it's a theory, they have almost proved a lot of stuff, is that the younger you are, the less life you live, the more immediately you are reborn into the world. So if you're a stillborn infant, that infant has been reborn to somebody else within a matter of weeks. That's how, you hear about the kids who can describe past lives and their houses, and they take them to these places, and it's exactly how they remember it. Even people in the neighborhood remember the name and how the person died. Everything comes out exactly as they described. And then over lifetime, they forget these things. But yeah, you've heard those stories before, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what they say it is. The less life you live, the sooner you are reborn, or born again, as Christians would say, but not in a controlled way.
But no, I've got one here. I've got something here. Or did. But I don't think it's around anymore.
That is my reasoning for saying, children's spirits. Spirits aren't children. In fact, they're not even really, your spirit is not even inside of you. It's above you. You think of a spirit as being in another reality with a bunch of feelers coming down. It's just connected to you, experiencing life through you. but it experiences a lot of lives. It could be experiencing, to them, time is different. So it's experiencing, say, maybe 20, 30, 50 lives all at the same time. It's like life to them is like poof. It says like in the Bible, you'd read life in heaven is 2 minutes to 1,000 years on earth. So, Christ has only been going for 3 minutes now, or less than 3 minutes.
But no, that's why, like, these things, these oh, I'm pointing the wrong direction. These posts like that, they intrigue me. Those videos of parents telling stories about what their kids say that creep them out, they intrigue me.
Yeah, that is. There was one that I don't know if you've seen it. There was one about a child who was 4 years old and never met their grandparents. Their grandparents died years before they were born. And one afternoon, the mother came along, and this daughter was singing a song that I think it was her father had sung to her when she was just a child. And the mother went over and asked the child, "How do you know that song? There's no way you could know that song. I've never met anybody else who sang that song. My father only sung that to me when I was 3 or 4 years old." And she looked at her mother and said, "Grandpa taught me."
Mm-hmm. Well, and then it's like, remember how Graham met her first great-grandchild, and that was it. It was Keegan. She met Keegan before she passed. But when Keegan was old enough, I was babysitting, he'd sit at her bedroom door and talk.
Mm-hmm.
It was like he was seeing her, like she was there talking to him.
Yeah, he never, well, when Lisa was babysitting for him, he was kind of young. So, but all the kids used to hang at that door, to be honest with you. I don't know if it's because that's where we hid the toys, but they wouldn't know that because we took the toys out before they got there, put them away after they left. So
exactly.
But yeah, all of them did.
Yeah, because Austin and Keegan were together one day, and they were doing the same thing, sitting at that door.
Mm-hmm.
But we never got them to tell us who they were talking to or what they were doing.
And we only lived there long enough for Austin and Keegan and Liam and
Leah.
Sister Leah, yeah. They're the only ones who were, while I was there, ever were in the house. So.
Mm-hmm.
And you weren't there before I left, so. I mean,
Nope.
You might have been there after I left because I know your mother was. She's got a lot of the things from the house that never got pulled out before I left, or at least she used to.
But no, that also intrigued me. But yet again, I, as a kid growing up in that house, had experiences myself. So for a long, long time, I've been a believer of this kind of stuff.
You don't want to know some of the stuff me and my brother experienced in that house. You don't want to know some of the stuff we experienced, me and my brother, when we were young. You know where you and the other guy, the middle bedroom where you made the nursery. There used to be a wall there, and that was a great big long closet with a doorway from both rooms, right? And the shelves. So it was like a clothes closet for both bedrooms. And me and my brother, for the longest time, we moved in that house like 1967. He was like 6, I was like 7, maybe 7 and 8, in that neighborhood. I'll tell you how long ago it was. You know, the swamp maple? It was a bush that we were taller than. Anyway, we were afraid for a very long time about that closet. And then as we started getting a little older, 10, 11, 12, sometimes we'd notice playing in the closet a little bit more. And one day I came, my brother was up on the shelf, one of the shelves in the closet, still kind of small guy. And I looked at him and I said, "The hell are you doing up there?" I walked up and looked in the middle of the room. He's up on the shelf. "I can't get down." "Well, how'd you get up there?" I flew. He said, I came over into this corner and I floated up and something put me on the shelf. I said, okay.
Oh, I remember that room because that used to be Dominic's room, and there used to be like a small closet area in there.
Oh yeah, it sure was. And
there was shelving right there in that one corner. There was shelving, like 3/4 shelves.
That shelving I built in myself. Where that is where he said he rose when he was younger. That shelving wasn't there. The shelving was across the lengthways of the closet on both sides. You could like put anything you wanted up on the shelf, and then below it was a whole rack where you could hang clothes on hangers originally. But that's why I originally got rid of that closet, because it was going to, not only it was going to be my bedroom, they made me sleep in that room for some reason after my brother left for the Marines. And I tore that wall out. That closet, no one. It's like, yeah, my bed will go in here, but that closet, it don't exist no more.
Well, I always wondered why, like, there was that storage area. That must have been the connecting door to where yours and Mom's bedroom was for the closet area, huh?
I put the wall back up. When I was young, my bedroom was in there. I took the wall down. And when we moved in, took the house over from my mother, and we had to make a nursery, I put the wall back in that room to have the closet. We put the nursery and then had a nice big closet for kid stuff. And then we took it back down, obviously. It's had a lot of changes. But the spookiness, after I blocked up the corner and I used that space, seemed to vanish, at least for me. Maybe just because I don't know.
As a kid, I couldn't walk past that area without freaking out.
The other thing was my father, in his bedroom, he inherited a lot of stuff from his father when his father died. Okay. And some of the stuff he inherited was 2 nun dolls that had, maybe you've seen them, that had rosary beads. They were really, really creepy, freaking things. And I was always made us scared to go in his room, because I walk in the room and you could hear psst, psst, and like talking in the background and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd always attributed the creepiness in that room to those 2 nun dolls. But also then, as you know, I think you were old enough to remember when they got into the knee wall to do the insulating, when we remodeled the house and we found the doll house and the doll furniture and those creepy old dolls.
The big wooden doll house that was in the garage.
Yeah, I took a look at those 2 dolls, and I thought about all my life, all that mumbling and whispering and psst, psst, all that noise I heard all those years in that corner of my father's bedroom, because my mother never slept up there. And I seen those 2 dolls, and I said, oh boy, no. And my mother screamed when we had that garage sale, you got rid of those dolls too cheap. They were damn collectibles. That guy is going to take that, and he's going to get $400 or $500. It's just like, I don't care. I don't care. Go on, they are.
Yeah, and the dollhouse sat in our garage for the longest time.
Yep. That is exactly right. I said to her, go on, they are, man. Go on, they are.
But no, as a kid, I couldn't. To get to my room, I had to walk past that middle room.
Yep.
Dominic thought it was absolutely hilarious that I couldn't walk past that room without the light on and freaking out. He really did. He thought it was freaking hilarious. He would scare the crap out of me, purposely jump out of that room at me, because I was so scared to walk by that middle room. I thought it was creepy.
Definitely something about that middle room, and everything after we did the remodeling and stuff, things sort of calmed down after things calmed down. I mean, this was all before we did rebuilt the house and everything. That I had seen my father in the stairs. That was before you were born.
I saw your dad. I saw Grandpa. I saw Grandpa my first year of high school. I saw Grandpa. And Graham told me that you were the only other person in the house who had seen him.
I said to her one night, we were sitting there, me and your mother, Michelle, and And your grandmother was sitting in the kitchen like she usually does, playing. I think she was playing Yahtzee by herself or some silly thing like that, or whatever.
Kelly played Yahtzee or
Or
solitaire.
maybe she was with Lisa even. But yeah, we're sitting there and we're watching TV, and I just say to your mother, I said, "Did you see that? Somebody just went upstairs. Who the hell is in this house?" And she said, "You're seeing things." I said, "No, no, ma'am, nope." And I walked over to the stairs and I looked up, and there was my father. I mean, not faded kind of way, but yeah, the bald head, black curly
I've
bald head,
never,
whole thing.
I've never heard your story. Graham only told me that you were the only other person to see him.
I see. I just a quarter out of the corner of my eye going up the
And
stairs.
it's almost exactly what happened to me. And now I'm about to cry because now it makes sense that it was Grandpa I saw. Okay, so I woke up to go to school that morning, and I went to the top of the stairs, and and I'm sorry, Dad, but I see somebody who looks exactly like you just walk by the end of the stairs. Just a real quick glance of this person walking by the end of the stairs. I kid you not. I go to the bottom of the stairs and I turn to my grandmother who's standing at the sink washing dishes. It's like got to be like 6:30 in the morning.
Are you seen pictures of your grandfather before, right?
Yeah, and he looks like you.
Yeah, well, kind of, yeah. But he's got that dark hair. He had that dark curly
He
hair.
had a darker hair, but that's about it. So I looked at grandma and I said, "Grandma," because I saw something go into the bathroom out of the corner of my eye while I'm looking at Grandma. I said, "Gram, did Dad just go into the bathroom?" And she goes, "Your mother and father have been gone for about a half hour now." I said, "No, somebody just went into the bathroom. I watched them walk by the end of the stairs, and as I'm standing here talking to you, I watched them go into the bathroom. Grandma, somebody in the bathroom. Who's here with us?" She goes, "There's nobody here with us," and goes into the bathroom. There's nobody there. She goes, "Shannon, there's nobody in the bathroom." And that's when she told me it had to be my grandfather because I described him perfectly to her.
Yeah, that's what happened to me.
And I shit you not, she said you were the only other person in the house who had witnessed him.
I had a lot of weird things. I've been.
And I didn't know your story, but it all happened in the same area of the house, the stairwell.
I can describe people that I've seen since I was 3 years old. I used to have somebody when we lived in Albany in an apartment. My mother said, "You were far too young to be able to remember that apartment at all." And I said, "I can remember. They used to come and they used to talk to me. And I even played patty cake with them. And when I was older in the same apartment, before we moved to Nassau, we still lived in Albany in apartments. I used to sit there and play jacks with somebody at the side of my bed. And there was nobody there. They used to think I was crazy. I said, "No, we're playing jacks."
I thought I was crazy. I literally thought I was crazy. Because not only did I see Grandpa, but everything else that would happen to me in that house.
Yeah, it was things going on. I don't know who some of the things were, but man, I knew some of it had to do with those two dolls we found in that knee wall and
I remember
the carpet bag. And
I remember watching TV in my room, and my TV turning off. And we had the old-fashioned black and white TVs. We had the small ones that you had to push the button or pull the thing to turn them on and off. In our bedrooms for the longest time, those were our first TVs. I remember watching that and it turning off on me. I remember my radio always turned on its own.
mm-hmm.
And I remember one day,
clock, by the way, we never wanted to tell you that was your alarm clock.
and I remember one day watching TV downstairs with Graham, and it was one of the old cowboy shows.
Mm-hmm.
And during commercials, it would flicker. The TV would flicker, and Graham would just say, "Okay, Joe, stop it now. I know your favorite show's on." And it stopped.
Yeah.
And it would stop.
There was a lot of stuff went on in that house over the years. Years. Nothing you can tell me about it.
There's no, there was no breeze. There was no windows for the bathroom area or anything like that.
Well, there was, but yeah, not when you lived.
Not when I was there. The curtain would blow in and out like somebody was pushing on it. pushing and pulling, pushing and pulling, pushing and pulling. The whole time I would take showers. Graham would always say, you got 5 minutes, take a shower. Any longer than that, you know, I'm going to be in there and pulling you out because that we had to save water.
Mm-hmm.
To this day, even though that doesn't happen anymore, 2-minute showers, in, out, done. Nope. Nope, because I don't want the curtain starting to go like that on me ever again.
Yeah, there definitely was a window there right where the shower was. It was a real small one, and it was insulated and covered over and new walls put up.
So I'm telling you.
But that was done when Amanda was a baby.
I completely know about that whole seeing Grandpa situation because why did he show himself to me, though, is the question, because there were so many people living in that house at times that
He's just saying hi.
Could have showed himself to anybody.
He could have, and maybe he did. Maybe nobody ever talks about it because, you know, you tell people and they'll say, you're fucking nuts, because I've been told that all my life. So I'm kind of used to it.
But I had never been told your story. And like Graham was the only one who ever knew my story about seeing him.
You know, my mother used to tell me, oh, you got it too, huh? You're going to have a fun life.
But I think it surpassed a lot of us, though.
Yeah,
Amanda don't talk about seeing things, and I've asked her.
You got to exercise it to make it work. So if you don't, first of all, you got to admit you got it, and you got to exercise it. I mean, you got a phone there. Get yourself a tube app. Call out to them. They'll come looking for you.
I've always wanted to go on ghost hunts.
GhostTube has two talkers. One is like a radio, but there is a fee if you want to use it for a long time. But the one that takes words from a dictionary you can use endlessly. But you can only record and upload so many minutes without buying a subscription. It's like $11 or something like that.
But no, it's just.
They also have a thing that can turn your phone into an SLS camera, so you can actually see if there's little stick figures will show up if there's any actual manifestations around.
Well, I thought it was funny because TikTok came up with that. Oh, we're going to show you spirits in your house filter.
Yeah, I can't find that. I wish I could, but I use other ones anyway.
And I was like, okay, well, I know that there's something in my house. Let's see if it's in the areas where I've had the activity. And I kid you not, Skylar's room, she was scared of it. She didn't like her room whatsoever. She swore that she would hear people. And I'm like, oh, well, the windows are right next to your bed. Maybe you're just hearing outside. I didn't want to believe that she was hearing like what I was hearing when I was a kid. So I just kind of, it's okay. I gave her a radio, turned it up a little bit. So
it's the boogeyman. They don't know what it is.
So I hopefully could drown out whatever she was hearing, which seemed to work. So that was a positive. But in Skylar's room, something popped up. In my room, where I'm at now, which was the boys' room, something popped up. And in my kitchen, the three main areas of the house that I've had activity.
When you were young, you used to have some crazy-ass night terrors, cry all night long unless we brought you in bed with us for the longest time. We can't keep doing this. We can't keep bringing these kids in with us. And you were the worst. You would just have these you just break out crying. Why are you crying? So, yeah, things were there from the time you were very young. I mean, when we moved you, I think you started sleeping in your bed pretty solid when we moved you in the same bedroom with Amanda.
But yeah, no, I've had lots and lots and lots of things happen to me at our old house. I've had things happen here. I had things happen when I was living in Athens. Just about everywhere I've gone, I've had one or two things happen.
Here we have a couple of things. Every night, it has never failed. Every night that we've lived here, I woke up at 2 o'clock, 2:30 in the morning to the smell of cigarette smoke. There was a lady who lived here for about 30 years who smoked. They tell me that literally she was so bad with smoking, and she did end up dying of cancer, that she smoked 6 cartons of cigarettes a week or more. And we can actually see where they said they would come in here every 4 months and paint, because everything would just be brown and oozing. And they would just paint this stuff over. And in the bathroom, if I was using my cell phone, I would show you. If you look at the bathroom ceiling, you can see where the brown is oozing through the paint. We literally have to buy some special cleaner to keep washing the bathroom ceiling, because the nicotine just oozes from the ceiling. But
That's
I wake
crazy.
up every night at 2 o'clock. You can smell the cigarettes going on in here. And, there's no smoking in this building, period, that I'm aware of at any time. I mean, once in a while, you might get a neighbor that has a guest to light a cigarette or something. But in general, most of the contracts when you first move in were agreed to not smoking.
Well, that's kind of funny because when I moved into Nassau, the house in Nassau,
Mm-hmm.
with my kids and Chris, every night at like 2 a.m., and I don't know why, I would wake up for no reason, it felt like,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd have to be up for about an hour before I could even go back to sleep. And I don't know if something was waking me up purposely at that time or what, but for months straight that happened.
Mm-hmm. Every now and then, too, we'll sit here. It could be winter or summer. And Lisa used to tell me the noises that we heard sound like somebody's playing basketball on our ceiling. Oh, no, that's just the seagulls or whatever on the roof, or the pigeons. And you could hear it bouncing all the time. But I told her, no, I've seen it. It's George the cat. The woman that I talked about who died of cancer and smoked all the cigarettes and everything, she had a cat that they say, was as big, you could mistake it for a wild cat, like a saber, a lynx or something. It was huge and it was big and bushy. And that is what I'm hearing. And sometimes I just call it George. I don't know why, but you can hear it bouncing all over, and it's not like mice or anything like that. This is huge. Whatever it is sounds like they're playing basketball up there, either on the roof or in the ceiling.
Well, where I lived in Athens, it was on an old brickyard.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine what has happened on that property,
Mm-hmm.
So like a lot of my experiences weren't inside the house. They were outside.
There's a lot of the older buildings too, the heavy concrete buildings, like the block house you're talking about, where people were building them and the safety rules were not exactly like they are today. And they were actually people who fell into the foundations and stuff, and they were just the foundations were filled in, the bodies are still there
It's
in the
horrible.
building. I mean, I'm sure you could talk to somebody about the bonded concrete building. There were stories about men buried in that. I mean, just like the Hoover Dam too. I
I was
mean,
just about to mention the Hoover Dam when you said that.
so and that's a real thing. So
But also it's like shoot, I just lost train of thought.
uh,
All right, so I'm gonna go off of the paranormal, I guess, in a way.
okay, doesn't matter.
But as a kid, you can tell the difference, right, between an airplane and a non-airplane in the sky, like an
Sometimes,
airplane and a star.
sometimes you can. It really depends on the sky at the time, but yeah.
Well, do you believe that or aliens? Let's just use what everybody would understand. Aliens are real.
Aliens are real, but they're not coming from the sky. Some of those uh, shadows and stuff that we see are not human spirits. They are spirits in another reality. And man has known about them. They call them angels, fairies, sprites. These are higher higher evolved levels of life that have been watching us, waiting for us to get up to their level so that we'll be non-planetary too. Those are aliens. They're all aliens, okay? So they are the aliens.
Do you believe in UFOs?
There is nobody coming from the sky. What we see in the sky, okay? The reason they call our souls the light of life is because that's what we see. Everywhere we look is a soul, infinite numbers of souls. Even the things they describe as planets, stars, asteroids, if you can see it lit in the sky, they're souls. They're souls and they're realms that are connected to other realms and other realities other than Earth.
Okay, so like what I was seeing in the sky as a kid was just like a black hole, but with bright light.
Yeah, it could have been a black hole with a bright light, but probably more like an area with a lot of cloud and a planet in the middle, like a Saturn or a whatever.
Well, all I know is I swear to you, it was in the sky, and the more I tried to get closer to it, the farther it got away.
Now, it was moving. Earth moves all the time. It's revolving. So,
well, I get that. But I don't know. It definitely didn't look like a star, and it definitely didn't look like a plane. So
there's two different ways. There's two different ways you can look at a star. If you're in the sky, it's like they're following you. If you're trying to follow it on the ground, it's like they're walking away from you. Well, it actually depends on which way you're going, but
so I don't know. I believe that there's other life out there.
It's out there, yeah, but it's just not what you expect. It's not doesn't have a physical body like us, and it doesn't live like we do. There's like other realms, other realities that if you want to, you can tune them in. You just have to learn how to do it. In fact, the government, I don't know if you've read some of the government papers that were released. The government is training the military how to tune into these other realities, and the CIA as well, for they call it national security.
Oh yeah, that's when like the whole world is coming to an end. Aliens are real. Stuff started happening, right?
I think it was before the UFO, the stuff that Donald Trump freed. It was a whole thing about Project something or other. It was a big write-up about how they were training military to tune into other realities and CIA, and they still do this. And that's where Donald Trump's Space Force was no big surprise. They'd been testing this stuff for 30 years, and that's what Space Force is about. Not about rockets and defending from outer space, but defending from spiritual realms. Anyway, I mean, I'm not saying you can't see other things, because there is a lot of people testing a lot of things, so you could see anything. But I don't think it's extraterrestrial, because your spirit, your soul, is a frequency, just like a radio signal or a television signal. And in fact, they have proven this so much that they're actually working on controllers for video games and VR, because they've discovered that the frequency that the brain operates at is 263 megahertz or something. And they're working on thinking, move left, move right, jump, squat. And all you're going to have to do is think, and the amount of deterioration or the amount of power that goes into the thought, they're going to know what you're thinking. I don't know if you heard
like
that. But
I don't like that, so I don't like the sound of that.
So they don't know everything you're thinking. Your thoughts are still private, but they know from experimenting over and over and over, if a person's thinking left, they put out this much energy, and if they're thinking right, they put out this much energy on that frequency, and so forth and so on. So you wouldn't have to play your video game with a controller, or not holding it anyway, for VR. It is some of the reason that Facebook got so excited and changed their name to Meta, because of some of the changes that are coming to the future and how immersive VR is going to become, because man has learned that basically everything that's here is just a vision. We're all just avatars.
I've thought about that. That my brain works so weird when it comes to these things because, like, I'm like, because the movie Avatar. Oh,
When you think
not
about,
like we're avatars like that, but because of the movie Avatar, I started wondering about certain things.
it's a vision. It's what we see. It's like looking into it's a dream, like looking in a mirror. You know what I'm saying? And that material world, like your table here, that is solid, is just a certain way of bending light so that your energy can't go through it. But when you're seeing spiritual energy, they just no problem. It's not even there.
Hmm.
Anyway, but yeah, and that is that's not jumping away from the paranormal. That is paranormal. It just depends on how you want to look at it. If you want to believe in little green men from Mars, that's fine. But I've never seen one, and I've been experiencing stuff for all my life, pretty much.
I didn't never say I saw a little green man from Mars. I just was saying, like, I saw something I couldn't explain in the sky as a child, and I kept it to myself because
I would never tell anybody don't believe in Christ or don't be saved or don't be born again. But I stopped and thought about, as I read this Bible, they're trying to teach me that this is a loving, kind God who wants me to sacrifice children, do blood offerings, kill all of humanity because you regret, right? How is that loving and nurturing and kind? I mean, and then to start, yeah.
everybody has their own way of reading it and taking in the information. And I mean, I've read some of it. I can't read the whole thing. I'm sorry, I just can't.
I take it
But
metaphorically. It's like a story, a way to live your life, but it's not literal. Don't take these things so literal.
right.
And if it helps somebody get through life and it keeps them stable, great. That's probably helpful, then good. If it keeps you in balance, that it's where you belong. But I don't like to get into this. You got free will, and but the church is controlling you. You got free will, but if you don't do it my way, you're going to hell.
I
Where was the free will again? Where do I sign up for the real free will?
mean, let's be honest. Are any of us really free? The government tells us what to do, how to do it.
Not about the government, but listen to this. They're just trying to control you too. They're just trying to make little soldiers out of you, 9-to-5 soldiers. So,
Exactly.
but the thing is, you are free. That's basically what it is. You're locked in this prison
I'm to a point where
until you level up and realize you don't need it.
I'm to a point where I want to go get a tent because this is how I'm going to have to start. Get a tent, go into the woods somewhere, pitch my tent, and just start my own little world out there.
Have you probably not? If you ever have some time to watch YouTube a little bit, I watched this guy called Morg on YouTube, and he talks about creating we're supposed to be like Neo-Genians, looking to level up our game as humans, and we're at that point now. But if you listen to him, a lot of his theories about religion and God and spirituality start to make sense. It's not a Bible. He's against the Bible. He was born Christian and now he's denounced it. He's neither agnostic nor any of that stuff. He doesn't,
Mm-hmm.
You got to set yourself free from that to actually level up and become the next step in mankind. Get out of the survival mode. You don't need these small, and it makes sense in a way. We were in the survival mode. We got small communities. We got towns and cities and states and countries and stuff like that. You really don't need. You don't need that. You need to open up and become an all-inclusive community. Isn't that what the world's trying to do today? Think about it.
I mean, I just don't.
I see in the very near future doing away with borders, and people are going to be able to go. There's going to be people are going to be able to go wherever the job is and work, whether it's an American going to Canada or Europe, or you're not going to have passports or visas or any of that shit. You're just going to pay tax, period, because that's all they want anyway. What's the point? Just pay the tax where it's at. No more filing anything. Wherever you work is going to pay tax where you work. You're going to have to go, because the population is shrinking so much, you're going to go where the work is, right?
Right.
So they got to take all the hurdles out of the way, or they're just going to have a lot of failure. They're going to have a lot of not enough product and not enough food and not enough production to take care of the population. Already you got shortages of employees and stuff, right? And then you got shortages in the supermarkets and shortages in the meat industry and shortages in everything. But that's the way I see it.
I thought, don't get me wrong, I thought when all of the crap happened in 2020, things might have gotten a little better after we came back from it, but it just all really seems to start going.
The way the world was, I could not see that going well. I mean, what they're looking at here, what they should have been looking at a long time ago, and the COVID lockdown proved it, is they should have been looking to push the universal income for decades. They've been putting it off. Think about how much money they could save if every time you were out of work, you didn't have to file for unemployment, you didn't have to worry about SSI. The less money you made, the more income the government set you as a universal income. You just make it like a minimum wage. Say you get $500-600 a month. If you're not working, you get $800 a month. And as you work more, that universal income goes down because you're supporting yourself. And it gives you an encouragement to do better. The more you make, the more you earn. You lose the universal income, yes, but it encourages you to keep going. It encourages you to, gives you the money to go to school, to re-educate yourself, keep educating yourself. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, like I get that. And
how much money could they have saved if everybody had universal income when all the jobs locked down except anything that had to do with credit ratings? Right? The universal income would have kicked in. You wouldn't have had to put all the people who are already 1 or 2 years away from getting into retirement. You wouldn't have had to have sent them to Social Security and pushed the world into a downward spiral because you got millions of people retiring all at the same time. When they came back from retirement, all those people were already retired. They don't want to go back to work. You forced them to go on Social Security.
Right.
Why would they go back to work? Now you don't have enough truckers, and you don't have enough longshoremen, and you can't got enough fishermen. See what I'm saying? And
right. Well, I was just talking with my other half last night, and we were discussing the fact that they're looking for truckers, and they have been for the longest time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm all for it. I mean, like, let me get my license and my CDL and all of that, and I'm for it.
And if you had universal income, you'd have the money to go ahead and get all that stuff and the training you needed to get that good job, or at least try it, rather than going to college, spending $1 million and only making minimum wage.
I barely survived.
So that is where it's going. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me in the next 9 or 12 months to see Canada move into the universal income. And it would do away with everything. It would do away with SSI. It would do away with Social Security. It would do away with welfare. It would do away with all those things right off the top. So how much money are they saving? It would do away with HEAP and food stamps, and because if they're giving you money, if they're paying you right off the top, if you're not working, they're paying you enough to live. They're paying you at least enough to pay rent and have food. And if you got a whole family, your children get that universal health, that universal income from birth. So you're getting their money too in their name. And that would do away with child care tax that they've had here forever, and they just passed there. Because your child would have a full-time income from the day they were born.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, Dad. Things are so weird.
And the
Things are.
COVID alone proves the only reason that we didn't come back from COVID is because corporations are greed. It's 100% greed. They want to make 10 times more back. Everybody got a wage increase, and employees got the push so that they get more money and everything else. And now they still want to make 10 times more money. So they increase the prices. Here in Canada, they're forcing people to lower the cost of food and everything. But what are they doing to lower the cost of food? They're shrinking the size of the packages. So if you bought a package of something that would feed your family of 4 a week ago, now that package will only feed 2 of them. So you still have to buy twice as much, and it costs more money.
Yep.
Because the government said you got to start lowering the cost of food, they started reducing the amount in all the packages.
I think they're doing that here too.
Hold on for a second.
Yep. It's crazy. The world we live in is crazy.
Yeah, I'm going to show you something. All right, even though this is open, I don't know if you can actually see this or not at all.
Kinda, sorta, every now and then when it moves.
All right, this is what used to be a 4-cup bag of macaroni. Even though it's open, it hasn't been used. It's only half full now. This is what it looked like previously. You cannot put your fingers at that bag. It is full to the top.
It's crazy.
That bag is full to the top. That bag is half empty. That is the difference. And they're charging.
It's like everything.
The same price.
But also, it's kind of like ever since I was a kid, we always made fun of the fact that chip bags were never actually really full. They were less than half full and the rest filled with air.
Well, the air is there for cushion. The potato chips is.
But you get what I'm saying? Like, we would always make fun of that because it was only half full.
Right.
Well, it's kind of like that now with your noodles. It's half full and the rest is air compared to the full bag all the way to the top.
This was the regular bag. It is literally 3 cups of macaroni. This is the same bag bought this year. In fact, it was bought just a week ago. I don't know why I can't get it in the camera, but I think I'm sitting too close, to be honest with you. But anyway, it was, and also my green screen messes things up. But that bag is half full.
You sat so far back that now we can't even see you half the time. You keep blinking in and out.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, my point made. 2 1/4 cups, 3 cups. Yeah, you pay less for 2 1/4 cups. You always would. But if you want,
right,
if you can't, in order to get 3 cups of macaroni, now you have to buy more than what you need. So how'd they save you any money by doing that?
They don't.
Exactly. So now
they don't.
So now instead of paying $3, $2.49 for 3 cups of macaroni, we paid $2.50 for 4.5 cups of macaroni, and we're left with what we don't need. And it's not enough to feed the meal to a family, so you got to buy another one to keep going.
Yeah.
But that's just one example, anyway. It's really just silliness and it's greed. It's not like the macaroni cost any more money. You just in fact, you could make more macaroni. Just make the machine run faster. I've been inside those factories. I know what they do. You need 6 million bottles and you only got 3 sets of milk. You run the machine faster and work the hell out of the employees. In fact, you don't even work the hell out of the employees. Instead of working 40 hours, you're now working 48 hours. Yeah.
I'm telling you, this world is spiraling out of control.
But that's corporate greed, and that's got to go away too. Especially all these companies that are saying, okay, we want everybody to come back to the office now. Now that they've noticed that, geez, there's not as many people in the office, we can actually afford to rent these newer, more expensive office buildings that are far smaller that we couldn't have before. And they went and they did that, and they made all the old buildings, like in New York City, abandoned, so that they can move into these new fancy towers that had smaller offices, and they looked much nicer, and you could, put your business in a much better light to your customer. And now they're saying, we want all our employees to come back to the office. No more working from home. Well, where the hell are you going to put them, asshole?
I was just about to say, yeah, here they started a couple months ago to force everybody to go back into the offices, that they're no longer allowed to work from home.
Not everybody is doing it. The smart ones won't do it. They all think that, okay, management now has the upper hand over the employee again. Now we can start pushing, but they're wrong. They're dead wrong, because there's not enough people to go around. That's why immigration is so important right now, to keep things running. That's what Lisa does for work. Lisa is a headhunter. She goes out looking for hourly paid employees to fill these jobs in manufacturing in this city. And she works for, I guess she does some work for city out in Quebec and stuff too sometimes, but 99% of the employees are all foreigners. They're all students, foreigners, newcomers. You might get one Canadian out of 100, because the working population has shrunken so much. And the new generation coming up is Ellie and Ian's age. They're not ready for a job.
Right. I completely understand that. You still there?
Yep, I'm here.
Oh, I had to answer something, so I'm not in the screen right at the moment. That's probably why I froze up or don't look like I'm there.
Yeah, you are froze up, but you're here.
Yeah. But no, I completely get it. I mean, but I feel something's got to change. Something's got to change. That's all I can say.
Yeah, all this macaroni I put in front of myself has got
something
to go.
In the world.
There you are. Look, you are alive.
Something in the world's got to change.
I was just going to start
money-wise.
But you're moving. Hey, it's real. Yeah.
Because I, as a lower class citizen,
Lord, there is no such thing as a lower class citizen, except to say they like to treat people who don't drive as second class citizens, but that's not even true, because hey, we walk everywhere we go. We take cabs, we take buses. We don't own a car. You know why? Because a car costs another. We would have to pay a second rent to own a car and insure it and take care of it.
Exactly why I don't own a car.
It doesn't matter how new or how old your car is. By the time you're done with the insurance and the repairs and the tires and no. I mean, we pay, as it is, we're living in this little small apartment. It's just over $1,000 a month, and if we ever had to replace it, we'd be paying $3,000 for the same size apartment anywhere else.
Yep. And well, I forgot where I was going because you made me laugh. I make minimum wage. Okay. I bring home maybe $200, little over $200 a week. I'm still wearing, I don't know how long ago I got this flannel. I'm still wearing clothes because I can't afford them from when I had a lot of weight on me. I mean, a lot of weight on me. And they just bag you because
I still have when I came from New York.
Because clothing is just so dang expensive.
I mean, we did have to buy me a whole new wardrobe when I moved in here, but I kept the old clothes, and I could never grow back into them now. I'm starting to throw them away slowly but surely. I somehow doubt that I'll get down to 160 some pounds again.
But here's the thing.
Even less than that, to be honest with you.
I don't even really have any food in my house right now because food costs are outrageous.
Okay. I tell you what, I got to go potty. You keep talking, you juggle, do whatever. I'll be right back.
Right. I will sit here and talk to myself. I don't know. But no, like food costs here are outrageous. And especially not having a car and having to take the bus everywhere. It's like pay for the bus, to which I have to walk to. When I get off the bus, I have to come all the way back home from the bus stop with everything that I bought from the grocery store. So I'm not doing like a whole month shopping trip like I normally would like to, which is way more expensive to do a week here, a week there, than it would be to buy for the whole month. My everything runs out so fast.
Seriously. So far, the cough and everything has left me alone today. But after I came back from taking Ellie from work, I was a mess. I was coughing. The wind, the cold out there is wicked.
I was just about to say, it's the cold. It's just the cold that does it.
It sucks the life out of me. I can't breathe. And then I get in here and I'm coughing and my nose is running. I went to blow my nose and my nose is bleeding. And then I had diarrhea to boot. And I'm saying, what the frig, man? Just shoot me.
No, I completely agree that the cold and the wind does not help when you don't feel good and you have asthma or anything like that. Like they're like, oh, he is worse. He is worse. So is the cold. So is the extreme cold.
I do fairly good in the heat, unless it gets too hot. But the cold, just especially the cold air blowing in your face, man.
I know.
Down to get Ellie, I almost died. Wind,
No.
20 below in the wind.
I completely agree. The cold is way worse when you have breathing problems than the heat.
And most of my breathing problems, I didn't have any problem until I put this weight on, so that's what it is. But still, killing me. And I haven't, honestly, other than to say we were in lockdown because of COVID, and Lisa got COVID, and I never took a test, but I'm going to assume I had it too because everybody else did.
I had COVID.
I've had no real illness to speak of.
I had COVID, and it started in the beginning of December of 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember you were quarantined for 2 weeks, right? During that whole trip.
The first time me had it, there was no quarantine. There was no lockdown.
Well, I had gotten it after everything had gone crazy, and we all had to quarantine for like 2 weeks. Well, I had just moved in. I had just moved into the apartment I'm in now, and I felt like I had a sinus infection. Right. Now, I remember the day that I went to the doctor was the same day, or was a couple days after I picked my youngest, Garrett, up from daycare early because he had diarrhea. Mm-hmm. And they had taken him out of class because in those daycare things, they have to be like separated from the other kids.
Right.
No matter what, if they're showing any signs of being sick, was before. And so he had diarrhea. So they took him and put him with, I guess she runs the building or whatever. She held on to him for a while until I could get there. And I had brought him to the house. And a couple of days later, I had gotten tested. Or not tested. I had gone to the doctor just thinking I had a sinus infection because that's all it was. Like, that's all it felt like was just my sinuses.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, that's part of COVID. So we're going to COVID test you. I'm like, I don't have COVID.
No.
Like, it's a sinus infection. Lo and behold, I had COVID.
The first time me and Lisa got it, she was still working at the loan company, and they had a Christmas party. She went to Toronto in December before Christmas of, was it 2019? It was long before the shutdown. And she came back, and 5 days later, she was sick as a dog, and she was sick for a week and a half. And there was no COVID test or anything. There was no COVID. We hadn't heard of it, but we didn't have no taste, no smell, no. and we were just dead in bed. I mean, we literally ordered from. I think we got some stuff from the drugstore. A friend had to go because there was no Instacart or anything even at the time. And yeah, they had to bring us medicine, and we just laid in bed for almost 2 weeks, and the kids stayed home because we couldn't take them anywhere. But there was no COVID. And then the next time, she was already had the job she has now. She had done an interview, and somebody in the office picked up COVID, and she got it from them, and then everybody fell down with it after that. But that was already after the free testing kits and everything were here.
Well, I have a funny suspicion that when I ended up with COVID, the only two people in the house that ended up with COVID was me and Garrett.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that when I got him from school that day, he already had it.
Well, yeah, more than likely.
And that, with him going to the daycare, it was a better chance of him getting it than me getting it where I was working.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe Garrett brought it into the house. And because he's always up in my face, that's how I got it.
Mm-hmm.
Mommy's wiping your boogers. Mommy's giving you hugs and kisses, and you're always in mommy's face, and you're always sneezing on her. I got it because I was his main source of care.
Mm-hmm.
So then the whole house ended up being enclosed with each other for 2 weeks.
I remember Lisa would say, "What are we going to feed?" The second time we had COVID. What are we going to feed the kids? I said, "It doesn't matter. Why don't we just order pizza?" She said, "Where should I get the pizza?" I said, "It doesn't matter. We can't taste it. Order the cheapest one. Doesn't matter."
You could order a cardboard box. You could eat it, and it still tastes like pizza.
It's funny.
Pretend.
It's funny you should mention that because I sat here, ate a piece of toast the first day I started coming down sick, and I said to Lisa, I said, "I think I'm sick too." And she said, "What do you mean?" I said, "My bread, it tastes like cardboard. That was the only thing I could taste. It tasted like I was eating a piece of cardboard, literally, and it was just a piece of toast, and it did have peanut butter on it, but I couldn't tell."
Well, luckily for me, when I had COVID, I still had all my taste and smell. So.
But yeah, that's exactly what the bread was
like.
like.
But here's the thing. I had my taste and smell the whole time, right?
Mm-hmm.
But ever since COVID, like those fruit drinks, like they're not real fruit, but they're flavored like fruit or something like that.
Right.
I can't have anything like that. Anything that's fruit flavored that's not real fruit.
Huh.
Because it tastes disgusting. It tastes like soap or perfume.
Yeah.
Ever since I had COVID.
There's a lot of people with long COVID that have super weird, freaky stuff left over behind. And it can permanently mess up your taste or your smell.
Yeah. And if it messed with mine, but I didn't have it go away. It just messed up certain things that I eat. They don't taste right anymore.
That's what it does.
So.
Long COVID does different things to different people. Anyway, this macaroni. So yeah, that's about as far from paranormal as you can get. Maybe COVID was paranormal. I don't know.
I don't know, but the whole reason I didn't want to go to the doctor this time around because I was sick, because the last time I went thinking I had a sinus infection, I had COVID.
Yeah. Well, the strains of COVID that are going around now, they're telling you could test for it and you could even take your temperature, but you don't have to because you can feel the heat radiating out of your back and your chest. You want to know if your kids got COVID because they're sick? Put your hand on their back. If it feels hot, they got COVID. Just keep them home. Don't worry about it.
Right.
I still remember taking Ellie for that first COVID test because there was no free kits. You had to go out to the little roadside clinics. Oh, man. Yep. She was so young and she was so freaked out, and then her nose bled for a week.
Oh, poor baby.
Yeah,
I remember taking Skylar for her first COVID test. To one of those pull-up ones.
Mm-hmm.
And the poor girl, she's so short that she literally had to get out of the car.
Right.
So they had her go sit at a chair, and she's freaking out, and she's freaking out. And she's like, it felt like they were trying to pull out my brain, Mom.
Yeah, we had to actually hold. I had to put my arms around Ellie and hold her arms, and at least I had to hold her head still.
It's horrible.
And she still moved enough to get poked with the swab that it caused her nose to bleed.
And I'm sitting there, and because, well, of course, Skylar's a bit bigger than Ellie. And I'm sitting there, and I'm holding her hand. I'm like, it'll be over before you know it. It'll be over before you know it. But she was freaking. She was freaking.
Yep.
I think, honestly, the only one of us out of me and my kids that has never had to be COVID tested is Caden.
Right. I've never taken a COVID test. I just assumed that when everybody else had it, that I'm staying home.
Yeah, Caden, I believe, is the only one that's never had a COVID test.
Mm-hmm.
But Caden's also the only one other than me who wanted to have the COVID shot. But he bailed out. He wanted to do it, but he bailed out.
Everybody here had at least one COVID shot, and they never. Lisa and Ian went back for their boosters. Ellie never did.
See, I got my first two. I got the first two original COVID shots.
Right.
But that's because I was working in healthcare and always thought I was going back.
Right.
Because my two older kids were old enough to kind of understand what was going on and talk about it with me, I gave them both the option.
Mm-hmm.
I said, technically, you don't need it. I said, but if you're going to feel better to get it, I will take you to go get your COVID shot. And Caden's school was offering them to children.
Right.
Like, parents would bring them in for a clinic, do the first shot, and then, go back in the next time they did the clinic to get the second shot.
Right.
And Caden said he wanted to do it, so I signed him up for a day and a time to go and do it. And then for some reason he bailed out, and it's fine. I mean, he don't need it. So
yeah, when it came to after the second shot, and it kept making Lisa feel worse and worse. She said, "I'm not going to get any more boosters. It's either good enough or it's not. It doesn't."
And that's what happened with me. I had not gotten COVID all through the whole pandemic craziness, but I was saying, I'm not going to get the COVID shots. I'm not going to get the COVID shots. I'm not going to. And then something was like, oh, well, if you want to go back into healthcare, you need the COVID shots. So I went and got the COVID shots done, and I ended up with COVID.
Right.
Like maybe a week or two after I had the shot, I ended up with COVID.
Right.
And it's just like every year when I go to get my flu shot, or every year when I did get a flu shot, I'd end up with the flu.
Right.
Within a month of getting the shot.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But when I don't get the flu shot, I normally don't catch the flu.
I don't understand it, but I've never had. I've only had. I think flu I've had once in my life, and it was not good.
Well, in 2018, yeah, I got to say 2018, when I was working as an overnight PCA at the assisted living facility, working in healthcare, you have to have your flu shot. You have to have your flu shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was getting pressured. You got to get your flu shot, or else we're gonna have to not let you work. You can't work if you don't get your flu shot. And I was trying to put it on.
I'd have walked over to my wood stove, pointed the gun up the chimney, and went, "There you go, flu shot."
So I waited and I procrastinated as long as I could on getting it. I went and got it 2 nights later. 2 nights. I hadn't even been to work because I only did like 3 nights a week there. I hadn't even been to work. I ended up at the urgent care.
Yeah.
I had the flu.
Got it too late.
I had the flu. I called up the manager or whatever you want to call them there. And I said, well, guess what? She's like, what? I was like, I got my flu shot. She said, oh, great. Bring me the paperwork. I said, well, I got bad news too. She's like, what? I'm like, I just came from the doctor. She's like, okay, you got your flu shot. I said, no, I got the flu.
Yeah, there you go. Got it.
I said,
too late.
and she goes, oh my gosh. I'm like, yeah, well, I'm like literally right around the corner from you. So would you like me to drop off the paperwork? She said, you're not coming in here. I said, no, you can come to the door and take it though. I get there and I call her. I'm like, I'm outside. I got the mask on, so like, I'm not going to give her anything. She opens the window and she says, get away from me, contagious. I throw her the paperwork and she closes the window on me.
Yep.
And she messages me. She's like, I told you needed the flu shot before you got the flu. And look at you, procrastinated.
Now I got the flu. Yay.
2 days later, after getting the flu shot, got the flu. But that I could have just gotten it from the house where I was working anyway.
I just turned my head and looked out the window. It's a freaking blizzard out there. The wind is blowing. The snow is coming down so hard I can barely see out to the street. I told these guys this was going to happen. Ellie's got no boots even. She still hasn't got winter boots. Lisa said, we're not going to get that much. Yeah, her shoes will be fine. She only got a small, low cut pair of sneakers. And they're all holes, like air holes in them.
Mm-hmm. Well, I left work yesterday and it was flurrying on and off, and it was supposed to do something all night long. Like it was supposed to flurry on and off all night long, but
this is not going to be flurries. They're talking about massive snow squalls it was not supposed to start until 4:00 this afternoon. So that'll tell you where we're headed here. But it's supposed to be snow squalls that last from 4:00 in the afternoon till 11:00 at night and bring upwards of 4 to 6 inches of snow. Well, they're going by centimeters, but yeah.
Well, give me a minute. I'll be right back.
Okay. Woohoo! Yes. We shall wait for Sparky to return. Or Spaz, Sparky, all the same thing. I guess. Depends on how you look at it and what mood she's in. So we've had a mix of discussion here about health and paranormal, mostly paranormal experiences throughout our life. And so it's been a pretty interesting podcast. I've seen people in and out of here. I see one like. Don't know where you guys are. We are trying to bring some more people into this. I've got to get with Mr. Works and see when he's got time to do this here thing and discuss our plan of attack for that. Hopefully this snow don't look good. It really don't look good. I got a funny feeling the phone is going to ring telling me to come and get my kid.
So I was watching a movie the other night.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an older, TV show, movie, Stephen King type deal.
Yeah.
And we're laying there, we're watching it, and my other half goes, this was when we were told COVID was going to happen. And I'm looking at him and I'm going, hey, it kind of does make sense, doesn't it? Have you ever watched The Stand?
No, there's a lot of them I haven't watched. So,
well, it was the Stephen King. I don't know if it was shown on TV first and turned or put onto a DVD or whatever, but I got a DVD of the show or the movie, The Stand. It's 4 parts.
Yeah.
The first part is the plague.
Right.
And it was all about this disease that was made in a controlled facility that escaped.
Yep.
And that's when he said it, and I was like, okay. But it didn't just stick to that, and then it turned into like the devil versus like angels and stuff like that. But in the beginning, where it was like the whole plague was released and blah, 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 and people were getting sick, and they called it the super flu.
Mm-hmm.
It's what we called COVID for a while, the super flu.
They called it a weird unidentified pneumonia here.
Was the super flu. I was like, hey, are we just going off of movies and stuff like that? Or are movies telling us what's actually going to happen in the future?
Yeah, they're just imagination, but sometimes the truth of fiction is, the truth is stranger than fiction, I should say. And sometimes, and you can look at some of the space type things they used to have in the 60s, some of it comes a little bit true, like Star Trek and their little communication devices being cell phones and the iPads in Star Trek from the 60s.
Well, it's also like if you listen to certain songs that were made before like these newfangled cell phones came out. Mm-hmm. I don't remember what song it was, but it was made before these newfangled cell phones, like iPhones, came out. In the song, it literally talks about an iPhone. Mm-hmm. And glitches in reality, those are fun to discuss too. Have you seen some videos of that stuff?
Glitches in reality are just the people who catalog. We have so many facts in our mind that we miscatalog things.
Then tell me. Okay. Because I was just watching one. Was it yesterday. I was watching one where they literally recorded when their car was sitting still next to a river. The river looked like it was moving. But as soon as they start moving, the river looks like it's completely still.
That's what rivers do. Depends on how fast you're moving.
They weren't going very fast.
Kind of like the wheels in a car in a movie. When you look at them, depending on the speed they're going, they look like they're rolling the other direction. Until they speed up, and then they'll switch directions.
And then somebody had a glass table, okay? And I don't remember what was on top of the table. But it wasn't on top of the table. It was hovering over the table. And they literally were putting their hand under it. And just literally hovering over the table. Just stuck in midair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's pictures of people supposedly with cell phones and stuff like that. No, the future hasn't been written. Though it is possible there are people with connections that, we talked about alien spirits that watch over us, that find a way to connect with human bodies, and they have things in their reality that we don't, that we wouldn't be able to see, but they can, or we wouldn't be able to understand, but they can. So if you've got somebody from an alternate universe, or it's not an alternate universe, it's a different reality than you, like they're not an earthling, and they already had a phone, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They already understood what they were, and it would look like they're using what you don't understand. Maybe they visited in somebody in the 1930s, and a picture taken in the 1930s picked that up.
Right. But I don't know. And then I watch like those. It's all like paranormal, I guess. But I watch those shows where it's like, I don't know. I think one's called like Strange Encounters or something like that.
Yeah, some of those are. I used to watch them, but they get old after a while.
And it's like the same thing over and over and over,
I don't dig the Zach Bagans stuff and all that. Ghost hunting on television, that's all pretty much rigged.
Yeah, no, I like to watch a lot of the stuff on YouTube.
Yep. Some of the stuff
I
on
like to watch oh, what are they called? The Haunted Homies.
Yeah, okay.
I like them. It's like Elton and Matt and Corey. Elton and Corey are the main two of them. They started it on their own, and then their friends joined in.
Right.
And then there's the twins. There's the twins and their brother.
I sometimes don't like the twins, but
yeah, no, I kind of got to pick and choose which ones I want to watch because they're not the greatest.
I believe that those paranormal twins do have sensibilities, and they can sense the spirits and stuff like that. But they do so much to entertain and add drama that sometimes I don't know.
Right.
There's a lot of fake screaming and running and that unnecessary stuff that's just for effect. But yeah, they are themselves. When you sit and listen to their story, it's not much different than you or I. They grew up in a house that was haunted, literally. So, and they grew up seeing this stuff all their lives. So it's very real to them. They can sense these things, but they add so much unnecessary drama for effects into their YouTube videos. You know, nobody goes to some of the places where they go and spends $1,000 for the three of them to be there from the time the place opens till 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. They might spend $1,000 to go there. Nobody spends that $1,000 to go there and then runs away. Their first thought is, let's get the hell out of here. There's a ghost. Well, you just spent $1,000 to see that.
Right.
That's what they spent all their money going there to see. And then they're, for drama, they're going to say, oh my God, this is over. I'm done.
I really do like the Haunted Homies the best, though. I watch them like every episode.
So
well,
really, really
recently. Up until recently.
Right. The guy that I watch a lot, and he hasn't been doing a lot of paranormal stuff, was Omar Gosh. He was pretty good too. He's real. I mean, he's afraid of ghosts. He doesn't believe in using Ouija boards or phone apps or any of that stuff because he doesn't want to call out the spirits. But he did go out to haunted locations and stuff and to see what he could see with his own eyes and prove to himself pretty much that paranormal exists, But he does other things too. Paranormal is not his main bag. Sometimes he owns a farm he calls Animal Haven Ranch or something. So he does a lot of that on his vlog channel too. There's a couple of them I watch all the time. Not as regular as I used to. I like to get into watching my competition for what I'm doing on my YouTube channel. I watch other vloggers and stuff like that. I really should let you go before I don't know what's happening with this weather, but I mean, it's almost lunchtime too. Didn't you have to go to the bank, or are you all done with the bank today?
Yeah, I got to go to the bank at some point. Sitting here pretty much arguing with my ride at the moment. That's why I keep freezing up.
I don't have to go to the bank or anything, but I do have to psych myself up to go out in this weather and get Ellie. Because I don't see anybody going to do it for me.
Yeah, I don't see anybody going to the bank for me either, so I got to bundle up eventually and go.
I mean,
I'm sitting here
arguing
with my ride.
I haven't got any messages from Lisa yet, but she could surprise me and say, hey, look, Janet's going to pick your brother up. She'll stop and get your sister, but no. She hasn't even answered my text from not feeling good and bleeding all over the place, and so she's busy, busy, busy. She had a meeting with the head of corporate and everything else going on today, and Ian had her out of the house almost an hour late. So because he gave her been giving her a real hard time about going to school and living and breathing and whatever. So whatever his thing is. Anyway, I should really get out of here for nothing else to look and see what I'm going to make for dinner, because that's next. Coming next on Morning Coffee with Roaming Ramble. Dinner.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hope you all enjoyed. We will see you later. We're not going. We'll be back and with some more interesting stuff. Till then, don't forget to give us a like and a follow, share our content, leave a comment. We appreciate your support. Bye-bye.